Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to a little quick micro mod review for Fallout 4. Today we are checking out the DSHK by Soroka90. The DSHK HMG, otherwise known as a Russian machine gun that I cannot possibly pronounce, is a crazy heavy mounted machine gun that this author has now taken into a portable weapon that you can carry in either power armor or by yourself, but it does look a little bit ridiculous when your character holds it on their own, as this thing is absolutely huge. Now, the DSHK, again, is a Russian-mounted machine gun. This thing is absolutely massive and uses its own custom 50 caliber ammo type. If you want to get your hands on this weapon, you're actually going to have to head over to the Cambridge police station. Whenever you head to one of the lockup rooms, you'll find this thing leaning against a wall, alongside an ammo box that will have a bunch of the new 12.7mm rounds. Now, since this thing does have a Russian origin and it's found in the police lockup, I like to believe that this was taken from a suspected communist living amongst the people in the Fallout universe. At least that's how it fits in my headcanon. This weapon is going to be a unique one-of-a-kind weapon. You will not find it in the level list. The only place it will spawn is right there in Cambridge Police Station, though you can spawn it through the console if you're a bit of a cheater. And those newly added 12.7mm rounds will have to be crafted at a newly added crafting station known as the 12.7mm crafting station. Now, this weapon does not come with its own custom animations. Instead, it actually kind of forgoes animations as a whole. When you reload, you actually just kind of dip your gun below the camera, so you can't really see what's going on at all. But I suppose that's better than watching parts slam into each other that don't make sense. I'll go ahead and let those reload animations play now so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, one thing that I want to note about this weapon is you are absolutely going to blow through this 50 caliber ammo. It has an incredibly high fire rate and incredibly high damage, so while it is going to take down enemies very quickly, it's going to cost you a lot of ammo. So be ready and come stocked up. And if you're playing on survival, you're going to have a hard time moving around with this thing. So when it comes to that incredibly high fire rate and damage, let's go ahead and check out the stats so you can see the exact numbers you'll be getting when you pick up this weapon. So here we have the DSHK in-game. This thing has a base damage of 69, shooting those new 12.7 50 caliber rounds, with a fire rate of 163, a range of 131, an accuracy of 35, a weight of a whopping 27.4 pounds, and a value of only 382 caps. Now, what's really interesting is that this thing comes with a mounting option on the bottom. You can see it there. This would mount to some sort of table, car, vehicle, whatever you might want to attach this thing to. But there is actually a version of the mod that comes without the mounting option. That way you can have just the weapon itself. And this is what that version is going to look like. Here we can see no mounting option. This is just the weapon floating. And this looks a lot better when your character is walking around with it. Though that mounting option is pretty cool if you wanted to place it at your settlement. Now, there are actually some attachments for this weapon. Let's go ahead and check those out now. Only a handful of categories. First, we have your barrel options. The standard barrel that you have is the grooved barrel here. Then we have the improved barrel, which is going to give you an increased rate of fire, but a reduced range and accuracy. And then we have the cold barrel, which is going to greatly increase your fire rate, range, and damage, making this thing an absolute powerhouse of a weapon. For the sights, we have two options, the standard sight and the rifle scope. Now, you'll notice the model doesn't change a whole lot, though the rifle scope does give you an increase to accuracy. But when you're using the weapon, this actually does have a bit of a difference, and I'll go ahead and show that now. Now, while the iron sight itself does not change, the way that it zooms will. So, here we have the regular DSHK. Whenever we ADS, we don't get much of a zoom on it, we just kind of bring the sight to us. But when we switch over to that rifle scope, while it is the same iron sight, we do zoom in a good bit more, making this a bit more effective at range. And then the last category that we have is the muzzle device, and there is only one option. Aside from having no muzzle, you can add in the meat grinder, which is going to give you the spikes seen on the minigun in the vanilla game, though it does appear to have a bit of an offset issue, at least in my game. It is a little bit off to the right. I'm sure this is just a little bit of a bug in the NIF, and this can be fixed very easily with a small patch. Just a small note, if you try to attach this piece, it may end up on the side like it is here for me. And now moving on to today's damage test, it's going to work a bit different from normal. Typically we'll test the different attachments to see how the weapon performs with its different scales of damage, but today we have a pretty OP weapon with not a whole lot of attachments, and we know this thing will shred through a Deathclaw. So today, instead, we're going to run this weapon through a bit of a gauntlet. testing tougher enemies as we go down the line using the maxed out attachments to see just how OP this thing is. Now this thing does have an incredible rate of fire and damage and is found pretty early on in the game, so how OP is it? Starting with a basic Deathclaw, I have a feeling this thing is going to absolutely tear through it. Let's see how it does. As you can see, we did spend a good bit of bullets there, but we shoot them so fast with so much damage that it puts down the Deathclaw no sweat. Let's try an Alpha Deathclaw. Again, even though this is a very tough variant, we put him down very, very quickly. Though we will be burning through our ammo supply, which is not cheap. Let's see how we do against a Legendary Annihilator Sentry Bot Mark II. Keeping in mind, this guy will regen health once he hits 50%. Definitely tougher than the last two Deathclaws, taking more than half of our magazine. Pretty interesting. Moving on now, we have our Mirelurk Queen, who decided to show up backwards for our test today. I have a feeling this one is going to take a good bit of bullets here. That's the first one where we actually have to reload, sending 150 50 caliber bullets down the drain. Now to be fair, you'd probably be targeting that head a lot more than I was, and that would put her down in probably less than a magazine, but still, pretty tough opponent. And we're going to finish this off with Liberty Prime, the largest enemy in the game. Not sure about HP though. Let's see how it stacks up. He actually goes down quicker than the Mirelurk Queen. Pretty interesting. But nonetheless, we have defeated all of our enemies. No sweat. I don't think they would have stood a chance at all. This thing is ridiculously overpowered, but it is a whole lot of fun. So yeah, guys, that is the DSHK Heavy Machine Gun. Pretty crazy weapon. I know I've seen a lot of people asking for a DSHK, and now we have one. It may not be the most balanced thing in the world, but we still have one. I think this thing actually serves a pretty cool purpose, and that is as a settlement builder, having a mounted option allows you to place this around your settlement and make some pretty cool little scenery setups. But beyond that, this thing is a pretty OP weapon, and I wouldn't expect to see it in a very lore-friendly or immersive load order, but if you like crazy heavy weapons and you just want to have a little bit of fun, this thing is definitely worth trying out. If you do want to try it out for yourself, it will be linked down in the description below, along with an Xbox link if one ever comes out. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace! And really quick, I'd like to make a shout out to all of our patrons. Your donations are greatly appreciated and really help to support the channel and videos just like this one. So again, thank you!